Hey guys, this is Selena. I'm here with Mike Squires to talk about his latest release. Hey,
How you doing?
good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Yeah, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I am a guy who lives in the country now after years of living in the city and playing in a bunch of different touring rock bands, and I haven't done that in a while, and I started this project. I played guitar and bass in a number of bands, Harvey Danger, Alien Crime Syndicate, Duff McKagan's Loaded, Long Winters. I'm going to be going on tour this spring and summer with Ugly Kid Joe in Europe and the UK, which is fun. That's something I thought that part of my life was over, but this is a new opportunity for me, and so I'm really excited about it. But I started doing this project that we're here to talk about before
Yeah,
the pandemic, actually.
it was birthed from the pandemic. I was going to ask that.
It started before, oddly
Oh,
enough.
okay.
And
Cool.
the pandemic just sort of, threw gasoline on the fire.
Right. Yeah, so you just got some time to basically just focus on your craft, huh?
I mean, I don't have a lot of idle time in my life. I am overoccupied pretty much almost every single day. I put my head on the pillow and I think if only there were 30 hours in the day and I could get 24 hours of work done. That
Yeah.
would be great. But yeah, no, it wasn't really because I found myself having more time. I ended up having two full-time jobs for a couple months at the beginning of the pandemic. And during that time, I started a second podcast and launched my performance video series. So there's,
Wow.
not a lot of rest for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, but
and
tell me a bit about those podcasts for those who don't know.
oh yeah, I started doing a podcast a little over 2 years ago called Couch Riffs. It didn't start as a podcast. I never really wanted a podcast, and then before I knew it, I had two. Couch Riffs started with me just like when I did have a lot of time on my hands, and I was unemployed and living in Brooklyn, which is a terrible place to be unemployed
Mm.
if you're not independently wealthy. I was sitting on the couch playing guitar, and it was fun, and people responded to it, and it was all very raw, like first take, no no BS, like post editing, anything, no trickery.
Right.
And it's obvious, like I'm not a virtuoso guitar player, but even remotely, I'm pretty utilitarian. So, but I think people like to see a human struggling through something that is fun and laughing and enjoying it. So then I started having guests, and that was fun. But then I left the city, and it was really, really difficult to get people to drive 3 hours up into the Hudson Valley to come sit on a couch with me. Go figure.
Yeah.
And so
Especially, yeah, especially during the pandemic with all those challenges, right?
well, this was all a year and a half before, 2 years
Right.
before. So, and then the pandemic happened, and by that time the podcast was kind of happening, it was rolling, and so
Mhm.
that helped
That's
actually to
good.
have it already started. So yeah, the that thing has sort of blossomed into a weekly podcast and irregular performance, like quarantine performance videos.
That's cool.
I have, between 10 and 15 of them that I'm making at any given time.
Wow. And then those go up on YouTube or
Yeah,
cool.
I've stopped putting them on Instagram just because Instagram does not seem to be interested in long form video.
Yeah, these days. Nah.
Yeah, they dipped their toe in it for a minute and they were like, "All right, we're gonna favor you if you do this." And then it just didn't. It just seemed devaluing to do that.
Yeah. So what was it that led to this record that's it's just it's a fifth the Couch Riffs media record number 2?
Yeah. Number two record is a poop joke. That's a poop joke. Sorry if I'm lowering the class of your
No,
podcast.
I think it's funny. It's great.
It's but it's also a play on number one record, which is a Big Star record.
Mm,
It's the play on that title. Um, so the whole thing started also kind of like Couch Riffs. I was living up in the Hudson Valley, and during the week my wife was still working in the city, so I
mm,
would come home from work. I had the podcast and a couple dogs, but otherwise I didn't have as many projects as I do now.
mm,
Um, I'd come home and I picked up the acoustic guitar and started learning how to play some songs, like Neil Young songs and uh, Terry Reid and some other, Big
right.
Star, whatever, some other stuff, Tom Petty. And after a while, I got probably overly confident and recorded myself and thought, well, I've heard worse, I've heard a lot better. But then, filmed myself just playing through stuff and started posting it on Instagram. And um, at the time, and still to this day, if you post a video like 47 seconds, it'll chop it up into three 15-second sections and then one 2-second section, which is, who doesn't delete that 2-second video?
Yeah.
And then it sort of evolved from there where I found myself editing these videos and it was really cumbersome and annoying. And I finally just sort of evolved and concluded I'm going to try to write 15-second songs and post them. And if you look at my Instagram page on the little home page, you can see the highlights. You'll see 15-second songs there. You see all the original versions of all the songs that are on the record and in their original acoustic glory. And at that point, I was like, I'm gonna record these songs properly or demo them at home. So I did, and I thought they were great. It's funny, and then basically I have you know I require a lot of amusement. And because at the time I was up here just with me and my dogs, would have to amuse myself a lot.
Hmm.
And so basically, if something makes me laugh, I pursue it. I don't care if it costs a lot of money or if it takes a lot of time. This project took me 2 years to finish, and they're
Hmm.
15-second songs. People probably think, well, that's crazy. Wouldn't, why would it take that long to make 15-second songs? But the thing is, it went through the same ridiculous process that any big budget album would go through. I wrote demos, I recorded, I wrote and recorded acoustic versions, then I made demos, then I hired drummers to perform the song. I sent them
Hmm.
tracks. I multi-tracked everything. I had a few guests, and then I decided to package it on a Flexi Disc and um, print it on a Flexi Disc and package it inside of a book. And the book essentially represents social media, but
Right.
in the physical world.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
cool to have something really tangible to look at and to dig into the story of it. So I thought that was really cool that you put the thought into creating that.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a very long, because it took 2 years for me to get across the finish line with this thing. I had a lot of time to overthink and over design the whole package. So, I had someone paint that album cover, which is the book cover,
Oh, cool.
which is a complete straight up rip off of my favorite Fleetwood Mac album called Then Play On.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now that
Like
I'm looking at that. Yeah.
there's this, uh, for people who don't know what it looks like, this is sort of like Art Nouveau, the original. It's like this Art Nouveau painting of like a nude man riding a white horse across a field. And I love that record so much. For 15, 20 years, I've joked about, recreating that painting with myself on the horse. And
Well,
this
there you go. There you go. You did it.
seemed like a perfect excuse to follow through on that terrible promise. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of works out because it's just like I don't know. It all fits together because like you had your you had your number two joke, you have your
Yeah.
you have that yeah, it's just a bunch of fun put into one album and I think that's really perfect.
Some people, I think, look at it and they're just sort of puzzled. Other people understand that it's a tongue-in-cheek thing. It's
Right.
also like, there was some deeper thought that went into it. I I actually I thought about putting this on a 7-inch originally because the whole thing would fit on a proper 7-inch record, but
Hmm.
the lead time on records is ridiculous right now. It's you'll wait a year to get
Yeah.
your vinyl. It's insane. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that with a pre-order of a record. I don't even know when it's going to be there and got we ordered it in December, I think,
right,
or maybe November.
right,
Don't know if
last
I'm going to
year,
get it in March, May.
right. Yeah, it's nuts. So, uh, with this sort of Instagram social media underlying theme to this whole
Mhm.
thing, um, I decided a flexi disc was a good option to press this on because all of those 15-second clips that we see every day it's such disposable information, even though it is one of the main forms that all of us get information anymore.
Right.
Right? We get so much information just in this like chop, chop, chop blurbs. And so some of it touches us, some of it we retain. Much of it, I think, you know, just passes through us, or it's just amusing. And so I thought, and that kind of plays into the number two record, the sort of poop joke. I just felt like, how
Yeah.
could I, how could I treat, how can I treat making the music as properly and reverently as possible, and then in the final step, sort of treat it like disposable crap.
Yeah, but it
Uh,
like it all wraps really together really nicely, especially with the idea behind the flexi disc and like I don't know, I just find it genius how you pulled everything together and it
Thanks.
makes sense that it took 2 years, you know? Like at first it's going to be like from the surface it seems like it took whatever however long making the just recording the thing, but there's a bunch of process that goes behind that.
I think if I had to, if I was going to do it again, I could probably get it done in 6 or 9 months because I just know what to do now. And
Yeah.
but the other part of the big picture, the bigger picture was I wanted to treat it like like product X, like generic product. Let's pretend this isn't art because
Hmm.
nobody because as a reflection on how people treat music these days. And
Yeah.
let's just treat it like a product. What if I was trying to get this product into Walmart? What would I do?
Hmm.
I would I would put it I would have the actual physical product that you interface with made as cheaply as possible, and then I would over package it. And so the over packaging is represented by the book because
Hmm.
the book is the album package, right?
Right.
And it's a 30-page book with illustrations. There's illustrations for every song. There's
Yeah.
a QR code on every page, and if you scan that, it takes you to a little video of me reading the page to you
Yeah. Yeah, it's
because
just such
people
a
don't
well
read.
thought out project considering like considering that it just started out with 15-second clips. It's just super cool to dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, well, time alone is a slippery slope, and
Mhm.
if you are a person who requires amusement. I can't deal with. I don't sit on my hands. I'm not a person who does a lot of
Right.
hand sitting. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have other really now that this is done and it's out. I have a bunch of really crazy ideas.
Are you going to do something like this again, or are you going to go totally different?
I'm gonna do something crazier than this,
Cool. Looking
but
forward to that.
not with my own music.
Right.
So the Couchers Media thing, I think I would like to put out music for other people.
Hmm.
So I've talked to a few people. I would like to run it kind of like the Sub Pop Single Club. I don't know if you know what that is, but they
No, but
did.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, in the 90s they did this thing called Sub Pop Singles Club. Maybe they've done it again since then, but
Hmm.
it's like a subscription for 7 inches, and every
Oh
month.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So it's something like that, but a very unconventional physical format to deliver the music.
Yeah, no, it would be really cool, especially since well, not 7 inches, but since records are coming back into a fashion of some sort. And I don't know, personally, as somebody that like grew up listening to Led Zeppelin and so on, like the music we used to be made to be listened from side A to side B, and it's not
Right.
like that anymore. And that what really caught me was that you had that message that was against that whole thing. And yeah, definitely looking forward to what you have to offer next.
The the funniest thing about this whole record is that I think I've called it the return of album-oriented rock because the little grooves on the album are so
Mhm.
tight together you can't play one song. You have
Hmm.
to listen. You have to listen to the whole record.
That's funny.
And I didn't put it on any streaming services.
Hmm.
You get a download with the purchase on Bandcamp, and the download that you get is just like the Flexi Disc, but plus 4 X bonus songs. But it just plays all the way through. Um, there's no breaks. You can't listen to individual songs unless you want to go in and break them up yourself on some sort of
Hmm.
editor.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's the way I intended it to be heard and taken in.
Yeah, so you're kind of just like, yeah, I don't want to speak for you, but that's like based on my impression. You're just having everybody listen to things from side A to side B, kind of just like as a reflection from that the way music used to be listened to, except in bite-sized pieces in a way too.
But
So it's
also
really
as a
cool.
reflection of how people just take in information, like on
Right.
TikTok, on Instagram story, and Reels. It just is a barrage of things. So the other thing is that more or less the songs that I was writing, because I wrote them all on acoustic guitar, they were relatively the same, and I tailored them to sound like completely different. Every
Hmm.
song sounds like basically every song is a rip-off of either a band or
Hmm.
some kind of subgenre. So, the lead-off song is like a Ziggy Stardust sort of Mott the Hoople rip-off. Um, there's a Nirvana
Hmm.
song. There's a death metal song. There's
Yeah.
a there's a country song. There's a yeah. So that's also sort of part of I guess, the art to it. I hesitate to call myself an artist, but I think that this is art.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you didn't just throw it all together. Like you put some time into some effort into that. And like if it's not an art, then it's at least a craft, and a craft is like, I mean, craft can be also misconstrued in a way too, the other way. But like, but when I say craft, I don't mean like, the cheaply made like stuff that you paste together. Like even to
sure.
an extent, like there's work and there's effort that's put into it. If you're not an
Yeah,
artist, you're not a crafter, but you could still like have something in between, right?
yeah, it's not a scrapbook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not a scrapbook. It's much more than that. So that's what's really cool about that. And yeah, if
In the
you're
end,
not an artist, I don't know what you are. I think you are an artist based
in
on
the end, I got to all the way to the end, and I had forgotten actually uh, that I had to mail these things out, you know? And I was like, oh, what the hell am I gonna do? So I started looking at mailers, and then they were just so flimsy, and I was like,
Mm,
oh, these books are gonna get messed up in the mail. They're gonna get folded over, you
right.
know. I've seen how mail sorting places operate. And so I had custom printed boxes made.
Wow.
So I you know, they cost 3 times as much as a standard box that would fit this,
Hmm.
but uh, I didn't care. It was worth it to me. It again, every time I mail one of these things out, and I'm mailing them out. It's not like I have someone fulfilling orders for me. Every
Right.
time I put one of these boxes together and mail one of them out, it is super amusing to me.
Hmm.
I wonder, like, what the hell is this person gonna think when when they get this? You know, it's funny to me.
Yeah, and it's cool that you get to put your own personal touch even to the packaging, and then you're sending them out yourself. That's really cool. That adds to the whole art of it.
I mean, there's a postcard with the album cover on it with a handwritten thank you note to each person, like a very non-generic thank you card to everyone.
Yeah, that's
I
really
feel like
cool. Yeah.
that's something that people just don't really do anymore.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. That just makes it even more special as a release too, because then people who like really do appreciate your work can appreciate it even more, and they can continue to look back at the like every little thing that they put into it, that you put into it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
so.
the idea is I would love it if people who buy the record pick a page that they like, read it, and film themselves reading it, and
Hmm.
I'll add it to the video page. So if you scan that QR code, you know, there could be, I don't know, the list goes on, who knows, 10, 15, 20, 100 videos of different people reading that page. That would be really funny to me.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That was the idea and the intention behind, you know, making those video pages.
Hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. That's cool. Well, cool. So what are you working on next? I know you said you're going to be working on something crazy. Do you want to give us any more details about that?
It's it's not really, but
Yeah, that's okay.
it's a probably the most unconventional form of physical format for sending music out, but they all of these ideas sprout from some ridiculous thing. So this particular one sprouted from the idea when I was mailing these, you know, the first round of record book sets that I was mailing out. The postage on these things is insane. It's just crazy. And I was like, man, I got to think of something that is much easier to
Hmm.
mail out that is not digital. Like I don't want to put digital releases out, you know.
Yeah,
Not as
cool.
a not as a an exclusive thing. So
Right.
it sort of sprouted from there. Yeah. So I'll try to do one of these things with one of the Couch Riffs cover songs that I've done. I've done about 40 of these quarantine videos with a variety of musicians that sort of centers around the my podcast.
Cool.
My other podcast is called Golden Shower of Hits,
Hmm.
and it's an album review podcast that I do with my friend Jamie McParland and our friend John Guffey.
Yeah, that
And
sounds fun.
it's listeners can go to the website and submit their favorite records of the last 6 decades.
Hmm.
And then, so we don't pick the records, we randomly select them from this list that the survey auto-populates in a document that Jamie is like a tech wizard. I could never do that stuff, but you know, you punch it in on the website and then we randomly choose them, listen to them for a week, and then talk about them in a podcast. Mostly we talk about a lot of other stuff. We make
Okay.
jokes about the band Kiss and always and um,
Sweet. I'll have to check that out.
It's a couple of old dudes talking about rock music.
Still cool. That's what I grew up
Um,
doing. So talking about music, that's all we need to do is just talk about music, and I think we'll have a lot less problems going on, huh?
you think? So yeah, I guess one other thing I wouldn't mind talking about if we have a couple minutes is that uh, among those quarantine videos that I produce under the Couch Riffs umbrella,
Hmm.
I made a couple charity videos in the past. I did one for Oregon fire relief a year and a half ago when the fires were happening,
Right.
and I made one for Seattle Children's Hospital um, for a big thing called Smooch out there in Seattle that Pete Nordstrom puts on, funds Seattle Children's Hospital.
I was born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm a little bit familiar with some of the Seattle Children's projects going on.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I have another charity video coming, and this is for an organization called Roadie Relief.
Okay.
And it is the most ambitious. This is the last year and a half, 2 years has been really crazy. This video took a year to complete,
Hmm.
and there are about 15 people in it. It's 10 minutes long. And what the hell? I haven't talked about what it is, but it's a Yes song. It's called Starship Trooper,
Hmm.
and it is absolutely bananas. There are a ton of people in it. Steve Stevens from Billy Idol's band, Kirk Douglas from The Roots, Alex Skolnick from Testament, Richard Fortus from Guns N' Roses,
Wow.
um, Brandon from Crowbot, uh, Amanda from Bexley. Do you know that band? She's from Seattle.
I don't know.
She's in
I'm
LA.
gonna say no,
Yeah.
but I knew every other one.
Yeah. Jeff Pilson from Dio, Dokken, and Foreigner. It's just like, oh, and actually, do you know the band Moss Generator? They're from your old neck of the woods. They're from right there. Tony Reed plays bass on it.
That
Um,
sounds familiar.
Nate Mendel from the Foo Fighters. It is a bananas lineup.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah,
And it's only
really,
10 minutes
really
long.
cool. It's a 10-minute long song.
Oh, it's a
So
10-minute long song. I thought you like were doing this whole video with everybody.
yeah, it's a 10-minute long song that we recreated. And
Wow.
yeah, it was bananas. So the way we will monetize that is for the charity, they're gonna have to, Roadie Relief is gonna have to decide how they want to do it, but
Okay.
we will figure out a way to get people to sort of buy their way into the video. Like people, if they want to, oh, I want to sing with Steve Stevens, or I want to be in the part with fill in the blank. There are
Hmm.
four distinct sections of this song with four completely different bands. Um, so we'll either auction or raffle a few 1 to 3, 4, 5 spots, and all of that money will go to Roadie Relief.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it took a long time for me to figure out, how do you make one of these things and monetize it for a charity other than just putting a link to go donate to the charity on the video, which people don't see anyway. But if run a little ticker tape along the bottom and make sure people know that they could be in the
Yeah.
video.
Well, you could go into a live stream and do it kind of like the way they do live streams where they buy a ticket and then that goes to a charity, or you could go some other route. But that was the big one in like 2020, I think.
Right. I think I like this because people can then I'll send them stems. They can
Yeah,
record and film themselves, and then I'll send them a version of this video, and they can post it on their social media, and that gives it, you know, a lot of value to them.
Yeah, no, I love how personalized this would be. It would be, again, like it would have that personal touch that'll help people connect to not just the music, but the charity that they're being a part of and, make
It's
it
a lot
happen.
of work, but clearly I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah, and that's totally okay.
Clearly I'm not afraid to take on a mountain of work.
Yeah. Well, it's really inspirational just like seeing how much you put on your plate just to like make the experiences maximize the experience as much as possible. So it's really cool.
What else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm not really into TV.
That's all right. Saving a lot of time there. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have anything else you would like to talk about? I think that's about all I have for you.
I don't think so. I appreciate you giving me a chance to come talk about the record.
Oh yeah, no problem.
I
I've
hope
I've really
people,
liked
yeah,
it. I've really enjoyed it.
thank
So
you.
yeah, thanks for sharing it.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, super fun. Well, cool.
A lot of people think it's sampler. Like, oh, where
Yeah.
you have the rest of the songs?
Yeah.
Those are the songs.
Those are the songs. That's so funny. I was wondering about that a little bit.
Nope, those are the songs.
That's cool. Well, cool. That's all
One
I have
other
time
thing.
for you today. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.